Portugal, it's an incredible country, but it's not for everyone. Because if you come here with the wrong expectations, you're gonna hit a wall of disappointment. But if you prepare, if you get your expectations right and you know what you're getting into by watching this video, then this can be a beautiful experience to be here and live in Portugal and fully integrate in the culture. Portugal is not for you, it's an in-your-face title, but it's better to get to know the challenges right now than going through the exhausting process of moving to Portugal and hitting a wall of disappointment. I grew up in Portugal and lived here until my 20s. In more than 20 years, I've lived abroad. So I've seen both sides and I can give you a very down-to-earth, get real experience because ultimately countries and cultures can be quite different. On the surface, Portugal is beautiful. Gorgeous weather, beach, mountains, good food, good wine, you name it. But that's when you're a tourist. You're here for a short amount of time and to enjoy to the max. But when you live here, that's where things change because you get into the nitty-gritty. Everyone's absolutely favorite one, I'm just being sarcastic, which is bureaucracy. In Portugal, it's incredibly slow. You need a lot of resilience and patience because many times you're gonna find that employee that couldn't care less about your issues. Absolutely doesn't care, doesn't make it easier, not even an inch. And you will think, well, speaking Portuguese might actually help. No, it doesn't. I speak Portuguese and I've hit a wall in the bureaucracy space several times and I've hit it really hard. So if you're coming from countries that you're used to highly efficiency in the government and bureaucratic services, you're gonna hit a wall right here. And I have personal experience. I had to get the citizenship for my kid because I'm Portuguese, so he's automatically Portuguese. And I had to get a lot of documents. They asked me to certify them and I certify them and I bring them in and they're like, oh, it's in English. Even though it's certified is English, you need to translate it. And I'm like, oh, sure, I'll translate it. I know English, I can translate it. And they were like, no, you cannot translate it. Go get someone to translate it and certify it with a notary. And I was like, oh my God, I have this appointment. It took me ages to get it. How I'm gonna do this in 1 hour? So I pick up my phone, I call a friend that was close by. She was available, she came in, she picked up my translation and basically took it to a notary to certify it. I went back and I got it. So you need so much patience, so much. And sometimes the best thing to do is to kill them with kindness. Try, be kind as much as possible. If that doesn't work, come back another day because maybe you get another person and that person is a little bit more friendly. You never know. Is it efficient? Not really. Is it the reality? Yes, it is. Let's talk about my absolute pet peeve when I came back to Portugal, which is customer service. Customer is king, you say? Well, not really here in Portugal. Many times they do not come through, they do not give you the accurate information and even give you misleading information. So always check but validate. And when you feel that you're hitting a wall and nothing is happening, you need to call for the famous Livro de Reclamações, the book where you can put down your complaints. So that's something you have to get familiar, unfortunately. As a little bit of a hit wall example for us was with an air conditioning unit that came damaged. They wouldn't replace it and it was a massive hassle. We had to call to go to the shop and still nothing. Only when after many calls we found out who was the person responsible or had the authority to make the change that happened. And through the process, exhausting lots of energy spent for something that makes no sense. And you might think yourself, if you speak Portuguese, maybe things work better. Well, this is an area where there's no discrimination. You get not so good service no matter which language you speak. And the reason I'm making this video is over the past years, several people reach out to me asking me for help to move them to Portugal, search for properties, one-on-one consultations, you name it. And I started seeing a pattern, which is people spend a lot on what they read online, but unfortunately, they are not seeing the real picture. So this is why I'm making this video. And you can also subscribe to my newsletter where I'll be sharing more honest, get real tips and as well guides in the future. So stay tuned to that. Let's go into the next one. So you've probably been sold this idea that Portugal is super cheap. 200,000 house, you can live with 1,000 euros. Well, that couldn't be further away from the truth, especially in the big cities. That reality doesn't exist anymore. And even in the small interior places, like where we live in Alto Alentejo, you bet that you cannot live with that amount of money. Prices have been dramatically increasing over the time. Just from 22 until now, prices for beef have been gone up 90%. You also had prices for grains going up 70% and eggs 80%. So maybe if you come as a tourist and you compare with your prices back home, it feels cheap, but when you live here, things add up pretty quickly. This one surprises almost everyone, thinking that Portugal, with such a warm weather, will have really comfortable houses, but no, you have a lot of cold in the Portuguese houses. And this building behind me is a prime example of what's wrong. Builders cut all the corners when they're building to keep their margins. So insulation, forget it. Mold, you bet you're gonna find some mold. And very lacking of any cooling elements at all. So that's an issue to take in consideration, because when you're in US and UK, you have really efficient houses with a high degree of comfort, but when you arrive here, you're hit with a massive amount of cold. For this one, I have a really painful story, personal story, which is my two laptops, working laptops, they got busted just because of the high humidity in the room where I was storing them. It's unbelievable. The building had zero insulation, this building I was renting, and it busted completely the laptops. And it's exactly what you're seeing in this building. Do you see how you can see the bricks behind it? So basically they laid the bricks and they replastered, and that's it. There's nothing more preventing humidity to get in. There's no insulation at all, which is in Portugal, it's called capoto. It costs a lot more money to reinforce all of this with capoto so you don't get humidity. So after so much rain, this is what you get. Thinking about getting a job in Portugal? Forget it. The salaries are incredibly low when you compare it with US and UK. They are miles away. So either you bring your own source of income, or an abroad role that you bring in, or you create a business that does not depend on the local economy. So let's go. Keep going on this video. Bom dia. Is Portugal for you? Well, if you go through the list of things I told you, and some of them is a big no-no, then you should reconsider, because hitting a wall of frustration after you moved miles from your home into Portugal and need to pack back and leave sucks big time. You can live here, but you never actually integrate if you don't learn the language. Are you willing to learn the language? Because it makes a huge difference. Otherwise, you'll be hitting walls very soon. I have to tell you that some public services have started to refuse to speak in English, and they make you bring a translator, and that's not good. It's better to speak the language, connect with folks, and get things done much efficiently. And I have a little tale to tell you, because I lived for almost 7 years in Belgium, and I did not make a good enough effort to learn either French or Dutch. I got along speaking English, and I feel that I never fully integrated in the country, and ultimately I decided to leave Belgium. And don't be like me that had to bring a translator into public offices because they would refuse to speak in English, even though they completely understood it. Making friends is also not easy, because people have their routines, their circles, and you end up getting stuck in the expat bubble, which is what happened to me in Belgium. I didn't speak neither of the languages, so everyone I knew, all my friends, were expats, and you miss out a lot, I can tell you. You can be surrounded by people feeling completely alone. So one more cue item to learn the language. Real estate in Portugal. Probably overpaying. You're being sold this idea online that you can find 200k move-in ready houses, and that's not the reality. So the house behind me is a prime example of the real estate right now in Portugal. I'm 2 hours away from Lisbon, not even close to a major city, in a small city in the interior of Portugal, in Alto Alentejo, and this house is already going for 400,000 euros. And it's not a new build, it has 10 years, it's a T3, it has 3 rooms and around 350 square meters. So you can see how real estate is right now in Portugal, is by far from that reality that you're sold online, that you can find dirt cheap houses move-in ready. This is exactly what people find out when it's already too late. You've already committed, you've already moved, your kids are in school and you hit the wall. People don't leave because of one thing that happened poorly in Portugal. It's just the several things that happen that keep you systematically wearing you down. But that can change if your perspective is adjusted to the reality. If you don't come here wishing or thinking this is a wonderland of things where everything is cheap and accessible, where everyone is friendly. So this is why I'm making this video, to give you awareness of these things for you to reflect. Can you go through these hurdles? Can you manage them? If the answer is yes, come to Portugal. If the answer is no, think a little bit more, visit for longer periods, but don't come without really reflecting on these challenges. So subscribe to the newsletter and you can get a glimpse of future guides that I'll be creating, everything from move-in to Portugal to real estate, to help you navigate these situations in an informed way by someone that has lived half of my life in Portugal, half of my life abroad. I know Portugal is a fantastic place to live because despite everything I told you until now, I've decided to live here. Thank you so much for watching this video until the very end. I'm very curious about your comments. Feel free to add them and tell me what are your thoughts. Did these resonate? Food for thought, this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope this recording comes out something decent. Barely decent, I don't know, let's see. Yes, my friends, this is what it takes to record the video. Trial, error, trial, error, now it's good.